Okay, now I think we are all live. Okay, so first of all, welcome to all of you and all the audience here from different schools, different colleges, and all around India. This is the first time we have a tech summit in IILM University. This is day two, and we have panel discussions as given in the structure to all of you. So the panel discussion today is navigating the future of technology of the emerging technologies and how it's impacting the business. So we have your panelist here, Mr. Sachin.Kumar. He is the founder of Jumbo Blockchain. We have Kamlesh Nagware. He is the founder of FSC Capital. We have Alekh Johari. He's actually a person who is working on the emerging tech for metaverse and emerging technologies. We have Venu Borra, who is a blockchain expert, uh, mainly working in the fintech and other areas. We'll start out now. To all the guests here, the YouTube live link has been shared right now in the chat, so you can also share it with people among your friends as well. Okay, so let me start the contest here. The contest is, if you look at the last 5 to 6 years, especially the part of COVID and after COVID, a lot of things have changed, and some certain things have become constant, and that is first is the Web3, which was led by blockchain. Then there was some metaverse, which people said may not work, and now again it is reigniting with Apple, Facebook, everybody is coming up, and I can see Alex sir is getting very happy with that fact. Okay, and one last thing, that AI, which everybody knows it's going to be there no matter what. The shape of it we don't know, the future of it we don't know, but it will be there no matter what. So these three has become the pillar of the emerging technologies at this moment. So, but the problem is, if you look at the business perspective, the business is currently taking a huge disruptions all around the world. You see a lot of jobs which are changing, lot of lean management. I mean, in the sense, people are cutting off job in certain areas. You see every day. I mean, there's a news coming up that big jobs are going out. At the same time, you see a multi-billion-dollar investments given by same companies in the emerging technologies. Often, if you look at it, every 6 to 7 months, even their plan of action is also changing because the technology has become very unpredictable. We don't even know exactly how things are moving out. I mean, just to give us very basic example, I mean, cryptocurrency took a firing start in the COVID, and today it is not exactly the thing which people talk about in the blockchain area. And a lot of investment has gone into it, and we don't even know exactly how it's going to fruitful now. I mean, Bitcoin was a big thing people talk about. It is still valued well. I'm not denying that fact, but it's not a talk of town anymore. At the same time, when it goes to the metaverse, it is again getting a huge shape, but it is not the same metaverse we were talking 2 years back. Even the companies which were talking 2 years back, some of them doesn't exist anymore. I mean, so so the whole world is changing in a different way altogether. So I'll take this concept over to the experts here, that I want to ask exactly what is the take of the new generation of emerging technologies coming in the business ecosystem. So I'll start with Sachin sir, that what is your take in the last 5 years? Because you are somebody, first of all, you are trying to create your own blockchain. I mean, the Jumbo blockchain, which is now coming up into a big ecosystem. But at the same time, you have also struggled in your own way in the last 5 years in terms of what the kind of acceptance from the customers, the ecosystem, the how things are moving up. So, what is your take in terms of what is happening in the last 5 years?
Okay, so I'll go one by one. Okay, so because you started with the blockchain as technology, then the crypto, and then the AI metaverse also. Let me take it in a very simple way. Okay, blockchain as technology is going to be stay there for a long, long time. The only thing which we have seen over a period of time, there are multiple innovation happen in that direction, but still the use of that technology where it should be, it is not happening. Okay, so any technology, how it grow? So it grow in two ways. Either it help people like UPI, it help people to make their life easy to make payments and other thing, or the enterprises. Blockchain as technology is for the enterprises, is for the government organizations to build their own use cases on the top of that. Let's talk about the what was the problem, or how it has it has been like gaining after gaining a momentum and then goes down, how it is happening. The problem is trust. The second is knowledge. See, enterprise should have knowledge, and the biggest challenge from the two perspective is the cost. Organizations are cost sensitive, basically. So if you want to build a industry agnostic solution on the blockchain, on the existing blockchain, the cost goes very, very high. And organizations are not ready to take that cost because they do not see that much of value. But now, right now, they are starting, looking at that. Innovation is happening in that direction. Cost is going down, very, very down. Like in our case, it will be like 6 paisa per transaction. That is one of the example. Then when it will be 6 paisa per transaction, then the adoption can go higher in the industrial use cases. That is the blockchain, what is happening. Government is adopting. In India, I think all the state government, all the central government are adopting the blockchain as technology and looking forward for a very cost-effective, scalable, and the sustainable solution around it. That's about the blockchain. So it will stay. Maybe growth can be a little bit slower, but yes, it is going to be stay and it is going to be a big market in future. Let's come to the second part. Byproduct of the blockchain is the crypto. Why crypto has gained that momentum and lost it later on? Because everybody was feeling sitting at home during the COVID time, and they have nothing to do apart from their regular work and the trade. So there, this is how it has gained the momentum basically. Okay, the people start earning, then they have given word of mouth, and more trade has happened in that direction, and this is how the momentum has been grown. But at the same time, the world's government also wake up, and that was a wake up call for them. And when the it comes to the regulation, it's a irregular market right now. There is no regulations around it. So the momentum goes down when it comes to the towards the regulatory compliance and the other thing. Now, when until and unless the world does not come with a proper guidance, proper regulations around crypto, the momentum will go a little bit up, low, up, low. One of the example is the Bitcoin ETF itself is one of the regulatory decision taken by the SEC, and now it is going to be the other cryptos also. All layer one's native tokens will be getting into that direction according to the adoption and the adoption by the people. That is the second. Let's come to the metaverse part. To be very frank with you, metaverse has to gain the momentum again in the enterprise use cases, specifically where the training and other things where human life is at risk. Those training can be done through the metaverse, and this will be a value creator. See, what is required if I want to get myself trained on like say welding. So what I need to do? I need to do the practice so that my muscle memory can store it and I can be the expert in that direction. The same thing can be done in the metaverse without impacting the human health. If I'll do that today with the physical equipment, then there is a possibility that I can, there can be an accident which can occur and I can be get injured or anybody else can get injured. But in metaverse, that possibility becomes very, very zero, and your muscles memory can grow like in the same way it is happening in the physical world. The last one, most important and most innovative for last 2 years, I can say, uh, AI. AI has changed the game little bit. Chat GPT. It has made people's life easy, developers' life easy, or content writers' life easy. So it has done a lot more change in last 1 year. Means the adoption has happened, and the kind of change it has done in the human life, it has made it more effective and more faster in comparison to any other thing. Job losses, I am not really sure because it is going to happen. It is just giving the accelerator to the processes basically. But job losses, I don't see that it is going to be there in the future. But yes, it is going to be grow.
So I mean, okay, Sachin sir, I mean, your point is very valid that all these three or main pillar technologies. What first you are going to say? You are saying that they're going to be there no matter what. It's not going to change. It's the impact is still there, but it's not going to change. The technology will be evolving, but you will say blockchain is going to stay, metaverse is going to stay, and AI is going to disturb, but it's going to stay the way it has to be. And we have to accommodate as per these technologies are coming up.
Right.
With this in notion, I think let me go to Alekh sir. Alekh sir, I mean, ma- Alekh sir, you're mute. Okay,
Yeah.
Alekh sir, I think what Sajid sir has said. Let me take it from there. That anyway, we know that these technologies are going to stay. I want to ask you, especially because you are in the mid of it, called metaverse, where very difficult to define. I mean, the sense every people have a different notion about metaverse. At the same time, businesses are also taking metaverse in a different way. I mean, Apple has a different philosophy of metaverse. Facebook has a different philosophy of metaverse. So my question to you is, first of all, how you define metaverse first? Okay. Because I'm trying to, it looks like, it looks like I'm trying to make a fun, but it's not a fun, sir. But actually, it is true. You look at every company all around, they have a different notion of metaverse to start with. Secondly, what you see the future of it, because it started with a different way as a VR, to be very frank, which is not a metaverse, but it's still as a VR. That era is gone, and now Apple Pro, especially when the Apple Pro headset has come up, it has reignited the whole metaverse game altogether. And we see that Apple is not looking metaverse as a virtual world, but more of a VR appliance. I mean, they're looking into the application of it into daily life of a human being. So, what is your take on these things?
Well, that's a very broad subject. I agree with you 100% that there is no fixed definition of metaverse right now. One person who tried to define it in a very, very nice way is Matthew Ball. So if you can just go ahead and, anybody who's listening to this can go ahead and search, what Matthew Ball said. It's a 4 or 5 sentence thing that he tried to explain it in a very, very good fashion, right? But for me, see, the metaverse is something which is more, it's going to be a single world, where you can transit from one place to the other without changing any blockchain. It has to be immersive. It has to be without any boundaries, right? That's what it is. What what metaverse actually offers is a way of expression. Say, I'll give you an example, right? That say, suppose, you want tattoo on your shoulder, but you're scared of needles, so you can't have it. So through digital avatars, metaverse option gives you an option to express yourself much more freely. So you can get whatever tattoo you want. You can have any hair color, hairstyle, whatever. So that's one of the ways of doing it. The other thing is that the way we see internet today, right? It was not the way it was when it started, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So consider the metaverse and whatever you want to call this as the starting point of that technology, say last 2, 3 years. So that's why you say, when you said that everybody sees it differently, it's going to happen. Everybody is going to see it differently, and the way they see it is how it's going to shape, right? Say, Sachin mentioned a very, very important use case about training, especially when you are doing drilling for mining, when you're doing, oil wells, when you're doing training on for medical devices, when you're doing training for, which is, there's certain things that there's certain use cases we are talking to companies, especially in manufacturing. Training people to assemble those parts can be very difficult. So all those trainings can be done in, in a virtual world, which is definitely helpful, right? And also, if you see, metaverse is more like a convergence for all these technologies. So blockchain is what defined, so to say, a metaverse through NFTs. You can have a token gated entrance to it. So blockchain is a part of it. Virtual worlds, I've been building virtual worlds since 2007 or broadcast and stuff like that. So this was all. So when I heard the term metaverse for the first time, I was like, what, what is this? I'm not trying to use any expletives, but what is this? Like, this is virtual world. You create in, software like 3ds Max and and whatever, and then you get do gamification in Unreal and stuff like that. But what actually happened is that it gave an expression when blockchain got added to it. That's one. The other thing is that for creators and gig economy, how can people have ownership of things. That's what metaverse did. So if you're an artist, you can sell your painting as an NFT, display in an art gallery in a metaverse, and people can actually buy it, right? So it's kind of a center pot, like you rightly said, it's like a center pot, and it's giving that expression, and it's going to take flight. Everybody's going to have it. See, and you give an example of Apple. See, Apple will take its own sweet time. Apple is not the one who's going to go by the world's definition of anything. Apple has always been a leader in whatever they have done, be it mobile devices, be it laptops, be it desktops and stuff like that. So they're going to give their own definition. And especially with a competition like Meta, they're not going to promote Meta calling anything that they do metaverse. I think it's a marketing thing, you know. But and with their launch, and with the launch of the Vision Pro, which came recently, you've seen, everybody wearing those with that wire hanging out. They're redefining the way people perceive things, right? So metaverse will not only be virtual worlds; it's how you interact with real world. So it's going to be a AR, VR, MR. MR is mostly mixed reality, where you have virtual as well as physical spaces coming in. And last thing, metaverse is not dead. Why? Because Microsoft introduced Mesh day before yesterday. I did a nice post about it on LinkedIn as well. And with Mesh getting embedded in Teams, Microsoft Teams. So imagine all the Microsoft holders, like license holders, 365 license holders, have immediate option to move to Mesh. And that's where, Sachin said enterprise. So this is the enterprise evolution that everybody's been waiting for in the industry. Everything has to be enterprise driven. Otherwise, it becomes a niche market, वो एक होता है ना art film की तरह. It becomes like an art film. Only few will watch it who like it. But for a mass, it has to be an enterprise. And that's what Microsoft has done. Thank you.
I mean, good point, Alekh. But what you said is right. Every company is now investing again in the metaverse domain. And I think when you said about Microsoft, they were the first to start it when they acquired Activision along, I think, during COVID. I mean, that was a trigger which started off. With that, I think let me go to Kamlesh here. Uh, so Kamlesh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm driving, so I'm not able to start
Okay.
video, but we can discuss.
Okay. See, Kamlesh, you have been in the forefront of the blockchain completely. There is no area in which you have not been put your hands, and sometimes you have also burned your hands as well. So, I mean, I want to ask you one thing. What do you see in the Web3 ecosystem happening at this moment?
So, uh, so even like as per my experience of last 7 to 8 years in blockchain, and there's a lot we see in the ICO to the NFT to the layer 1, layer 2 emerging, right? And now if we see the current market trend, so the tokenization, asset tokenization is the uh, leading use cases. I'm audible, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So this market trend is leading it, but there are many other things which is I think as a technologist I should put here, because business use case is one thing and technology maturity is another thing. So there are things we need to see in terms of interoperability, in terms of scalability, which is still the question, and that's why there are, especially the banking organization and the government organization, looking for the scalable blockchain. And in this case, like we talk about Jumbo blockchain, we talk about Moi blockchain, and there are many others. And even the Hyperledger ecosystem perspective, we have a Cactus as an interoperable tool. We have a Hyperledger Fabric coming with BFT with give them more TPS. So this two, so there are two things parallelly happening. One is the business use cases, tokenization, CBDC, decentralized finance, and tokenization of asset. That asset could be any asset, tangible to non-tangible. And second parallel track is happening on the technology maturity. about how you will achieve the interoperability, how you will bring the technology mainstream with simplicity to the user, bringing more abstraction level code bases, abstraction level APIs and SDKs. So I think this is my point of view about what is happening currently in the Web3.
Good point, Kamlesh sir. I think I have few questions for you, but I'll come back later because those questions can be for second phase. I'll over to Venu sir. Venu sir. Venu sir, ready? Your mic. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me put a premise for you. You and me used to have discussion in terms of Gartner's projection, right? And we see a lot of technologies which were supposed to see the light of the day in 19, 20, 21, 22. And we see that not exactly it has gone that way. Secondly, I want to really ask you because you're somebody who has also worked with banks as well in terms of the new emerging technologies. Do you think the two questions I have in front of you I'm asking? Do you think that especially for the Web3, AI is also taking over certain part of the job, or it is actually enabling Web3? I mean, obviously, for Web3 enthusiasts, they may say, no, it's going to be a helping hand. But if I look at the industry, there are certain places I also see an overlap in terms of, they are also substituting between, okay, why can't we use AI on these aspects? And secondly, do you really feel in front of customers, all these three emerging technologies are they actually making an impact? Because ultimately what is happening is, which I always say, I don't want to bore the audience with the same dialogue that we don't see a Google coming in or Facebook coming in, which made a revolution in 90s, and people were more than the developer, the customer was enthusiastic to explore them. So I mean, that era is still missing in all of them. I'm not saying the technology is bad, but still 5 years, I don't see that conclusion happening around. Over to you, Venu.
Okay. Well, Akhil, that in fact is an interesting question. We kind of have to expand this a little bit. Right, I'll try to kind of wrap it in short. Now, you talked about technologies been evolving. People are thinking about AI replacing Web3 or a possible, change of choice or etc. But there are few things that have changed that caused the so-called attention that you see right now. We talked about, see, in our previous discussions, maybe we always talked that the technology is already there. For example, blockchain was already there even before 2008, right? Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a paper of electronic money with the usage of technologies that were already there in 1970. Network cryptography, which was 5,000 years old, and of course, Leslie Lamport's report on how communication should happen on the network and so on. So these were already there. So it's just about an innovative thinking that brought together a concept of blockchain. Now here, I'll come to AI, but I want to kind of define these first. Okay, I would probably believe with the audience that we are having today, it's quite important to understand these technologies first. Web3 and AI are two different beasts altogether. Web3 is the internet of ownership, right? So, in short, so what do you mean by that? So, Web3 essentially is data that you consume or exchange over the medium of network, internet, is basically done through wallets, which are your just similar to passwords that you normally use in Facebook, Google, and etc. But you do it through a medium called wallets, right? That would allow you to handle what you consume or give back to the network or with your keys, private passwords, and etc. So that is the key difference. It's not a magic wand that does new things altogether. That's why you got to understand that why Web3 is not coming out with a Twitter or a Facebook or a Google, because the intention or the foundational element is not to throw your ownership of information to somebody else. That's the key motive of driving Web3. So you will in fact have more control of the systems, because see, you would, if you look at the data leakages that are happening on Web 2, what you are used to day to day, or the federated logins that you normally have, login with Facebook, login with Apple or something, you will see that there is a centralized mechanism, and we are quite dependent on how these companies manage. If the security is good, well and good, you don't even know. But if the security is bad, everything is up for sale. So that's the key difference of Web3, right? And coming to AI, right? AI is all about automation, right? You are basically targeting those mundane tasks that basically are repetitive in nature, right? So you see a lot of people talking about the so-called chat GPT here, but if you look under the hood, GPTs are basically pre-trained transformers, and if I had to kind of mellow it down a bit, these are general pre-trained transformers, that meaning that you give a bunch of data, it basically will analyze the data with all the algorithm that's already there, and immediately tell you what might be the possibility of next step. So it's already there. I mean, again, the fun fact is, most of you would have known that you've been using Google Translate, or basically let's say Google Translate, for example. Now, most of you would be surprised that Google Translate started in the year 2006. Now ChatGPT is the same thing, but you're better, with a better architecture. You give it a text, and you basically get an output in another language. How is it done? It is done through training it with a bunch of data. Now, what's the difference here? It's more general. You feed bunch of data, and trust me, you cannot replicate GPT or a transformer, because you need that kind of data. And all changed with one paper again. We've been talking about Satoshi Nakamoto. For those students who are interested in understanding what started GPTs, you got to see one paper called "Attention is All You Need." That's a foundation for transformers that changed the game. So there is a clear classic difference of what it can offer, right? And the existence is quite if you know real difference of what these offer, you know where they can fit in actually. So both these technologies need sort of education. No technology is a silver bullet, so it cannot solve all the purposes. I always believe, I keep talking about these combination of these technologies to solve any purpose of any issue or a concern, or for that matter, use cases. You can also use a combination of these technologies to a lot of answers to a lot of burning issues out there. Because I see blockchain as a reliable data mechanism, AI as an automation mechanism, and so on. So things have to be looked at that way. All right, I'll stop here and probably go further. All right. Hope that
Great insight, Mr. Venu. Great insight, first of all. And Alex, I want to add something. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I think Venu had a fantastic point, that why any Google, Facebook is not coming out is again all about adoption. It's like, say when you are already driving a fast car, right? Another faster car is not going to drive with super adoption. See, the adoption happened when you're going from a, horse Tonga to a car, right? So that's what happened, with all these social media platforms from which we call as Web 2, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, right? All those things. For that to happen, a big use case is coming up right now. There's a new product which has come in form of a decentralized social media called Farcaster. It's been doing a very, very hype cycle right as of today. It's the product is only on iOS and Android. It's not a browser-based product. I think they are coming up with this. So it's a decentralized social medium, which is kind of, I'll not say a storm right now, but it is coming up. So there's a lot of talk about it in Web3 circles, different across the globe. I'm talking, not saying just here in India or outside. So it will happen, and it's going through its own cycle. See, Google came up after say 15 or 10 or 15 years of existence of internet. Somebody must have found some challenge, they worked out, right? Like what Sachin is doing with Jumbo is, that he's solving challenges of how do you have a faster transaction at a cost in blockchain, delivery, right? And there are so many people, trying to build use cases. So what we are seeing today, I think, is building use cases. From a student point of view, once you understand, the challenges, so this will be a golden opportunity. It's going to be an effort, right? वो कहते हैं ना, to cook a pizza is going to take much more effort than just eating it. So if you want to be a stalwart in any industry, you have to get in and you have to cook things up. Then you have to create things up. So that's where people needs to start studying, do that extra effort, to understand what the industry is wanting, technology is wanting, and and AI is something which has been there for a long time. Venu has already given how long it has been, but from a student point of view, what can AI do for you is what you need to think. How can you make somebody's job easier, right? It's all data. It's all, and it's been there for a long time. Chat GPT made it user accessible. So what people need to understand is anything which is user friendly, it gives a fantastic user experience, is always going to fly. Always and always, that's how it is. Humans are lazy, they don't want to do effort. So with these single sign-ons of Facebook and Google and whatever we see, that is going to happen when we have those single sign-ons on decentralized networks, which is happening. There some people experimenting with it. Where they can use their MetaMask wallet address to log in by default, without any much data entry. So that's what students needs to start thinking, and they are fresh, they are fresher minds. All of us have had an experience, so we're trying to build on that. But a fresh mind will always see a gap in certain things. And I'll end with an example. So whenever you go and buy a perfume, so between perfumes they make you smell coffee beans, because they're totally different on sensors. So that every time you look, smell a different perfume to test, you smell differently. So you have to see it like that. You have to see the holes and the gaps in technologies, whatever people are building, whatever new industry can do. Research, talk to people, and if you really want, intern just to an understanding, from an understanding point of view. That is where you can shape your narrative. Thank you.
Very good point. I think very good way Venu sir and Alekh sir has really given us the answer of exactly how the ecosystem is going to evolve. And I want to add to Sachin sir. Sachin sir, you have a point to say on this.
Yeah, so I agree with Venu actually. So there are two parts. One part in Web3 is the storing the data in which is immutable basically, which is the correct data. And the second is the application on the top of that, which can make people's life easy, is the AI basically, where we are talking about the Chat GPT and other things. See, look at the evolution which has happened in GPT itself in last almost in 1 year. It has started searching the webs also. So now the source is not only the data which has been provided to train that model. Now it is searching the web, identifying the relevant result, consolidating them, and then presenting it, and then training themselves. The model, basically the transformer. They are transforming that data as a training model, as a material, as an input for them. Look at the kind of data which we are having over the web. Either it's on any search engine, half of them is the garbage basically. Maybe Venu can be agree to that. ChatGPT is making that garbage go on away and take out the constructive format from that entire data which is available on the different website or for a particular topic. That is one thing which is happening out there. Blockchain is going to help in future cleaning that data, putting that data in the right way. Either it's a social media platform, like if I want to build like 10 profile on Facebook, I can do that, and half of them 9 are fake, only one is original. So these kind of things which are there. So these are the garbage basically which is happening out there. So ChatGPT is going to help in that way to identify what is the correct data, where the data is coming is the correctly from the source. It has to come basically. Web3 blockchain is going to help us out in identifying the correct data, immutable data, and that data will feed to the AI to train their model and build on the top of that. One more example I can give you. I was talking to someone. They are building a new, again, ChatGPT only kind of ChatGPT which can construct the entire end-to-end program if you will give it through the words. Right now in ChatGPT is happening the sample code, but it will give you the new one which will be coming in maybe a year or so. It will give you the complete end-to-end program according to your architecture which you have defined. Now look at the life easy which is going to be there for the student specifically, that they can get a idea and then they have to put their innovation in that direction to build a very productive product out there. So like see, these young generation are having like very good problem solving skill, and they see the problem around. The one way for them to make a faster POC is take help from the AI tool basically, which is have available to define the architecture of their solution. They are thinking in that direction. That is one of the way for them, and that will be the fastest way to learn things basically for them. See, if we'll look at the down the line, like around 1 year, 2 years back, before ChatGPT, writing an architecture, then convert that into the POC was like 6, 8 months or maybe a year job. But after ChatGPT, the same can be done in 2 months' time or 2.5 months' time. So that is the difference basically, and the time is money. If you can save time, you can save a lot more effort and lot more things basically. So that's all.
Okay, good points, sir. Good points, sir. Okay. Now let me shift gears here. Okay, so to be very frank, if I really take a nutshell of what Venu sir said, Sachin sir and Alex sir said, first of all, your supporting arguments are more technical in nature, in the sense as a somebody who is using those ecosystems and technology, and I understand where you're coming from. It's perfectly good. Now let me ask a shifting gear here to Kamlesh. Kamlesh, you are now heading a organization which is more of an investment organization. So I want to ask you, what is the view of the investment climate in the emerging technologies, especially in the Web3 area, metaverse? Maybe if you are also exposed to it, and you have been traveling all around to understand exactly how the investment climate is working. So what is your take? I mean,
Yeah,
what has changed, shift in last 2 3
yeah.
years?
So if you see the investment trends, right, from last 2 years, it's not when all the investment, even not just the Web3 and fintech, but all other different is decreased. And what? But now investor invest in the project where they can see some real use case and real value add. It's not just kind of the hype, like you can build a token and create tokenomics and you will get a funding. So now the investment mostly happening in a good use cases, tokenization use cases, where you see some
Kamlesh, your voice is
trying to
breaking.
do,
Yes, yeah.
you sort of something relevance. I think I lost the network. I think some network issue.
Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So I think investment is not just only the valuation. Now even investors are thinking what value add will be added by the startup, not just the valuation of the money they are putting. So in investment happening in tokenization kind of a startup, there are some investment in the layer one chains too, and CBDC startups is growing. So even like in our portfolio, we have a couple of startups in tokenization, security audit company, and the low code, no code platform, and one edtech Gen AI platform, this kind of thing.
You're
Sorry,
on
my
mute,
net got
Akhil.
my net got disconnected in between. Okay, I'm sorry, Kamlesh. Your concluding remark, I got
Yeah.
disconnected actually. So
Oh,
yeah, sorry, extremely sorry. I don't know, something happened. My net got break. Okay, so I mean, what Kamlesh has said is exactly what I think I was asking to Venu in one way. That the climate has completely changing, and now people are more concerned about whether these technologies at the ground level is going to change the way the consumer feel, because the revenue is going to come from there. Okay, so I mean that also has a bigger issue to have to tackle around. So my question to all of you, and I will start with Venu here first. That what is the best practice you feel in the next 3 4 years, which the industry has to keep up to make sure that let's not get into these kind of too many disruptions all around, but nothing happening on the ground. So what are the best practices you feel in the next 3 4 years the companies needs to keep in mind?
Well, here is my answer. You will have a thousand other things coming up in the next 3 4 years, because that's how the situation is going to be. There is a lot of focus on coming up with new ways to solve each problem. So you'll have a lot of trouble now going forward to articulate a certain use case in a way that will mean good for you. So that means there are 1,000 different ways to reach Bombay or Mumbai for that matter. So which one is good for you is what you need to pick up, right? So the key for that situation would be is to educate yourself. Try to follow what you feel is appropriate, because Alek was just talking about mesh here, right? How many of us really know about mesh? Not yet, right? But there are something that will come up eventually. There is a lot of stuff. Now you will see that each tech company wants to solve its own purpose with their own technology. One thing you should know is all these tech giants are run through investments. They do have their own board of directors and all that. The key would be driving decisions based on what these directors or business investors will want to do with the organization. But what I would probably recommend or see is first ensure that you know what kind of interests you feel like, and then try to take advice from people who are into the industry or at least are aware of it, and then start digging deep into it. That's the key to success. And for from a industry standpoint, you will see, for example, I'll tell you a few industries right now: fintech, trade finance, supply chain, right? You'll see these are typical use cases where blockchain, AI, IoT, everything will fit. But you will notice on the ground level, nobody really cares about them unless until it really is a necessity. After these many years, almost century, the process are still the same. They carry legacy baggage. There is a reluctance of using new technologies, modernizing them unless it is there. So there is always new technologies that will be pushing the limits of how a use case should be adopted. However, it all boils down to what is the true value. Are we really going to change everything? Is there a necessity of changing the legacy baggage? Because whatever is running is the motto of business people. Good returns is what they will look at. They will eventually turn into it, but probably it will take some time. But you got to understand, don't we should not jump into these technology trends unless you really are from that zone. So I would probably say step back, learn more foundational elements, even now, right? For example, AI, right? The major thing that can help you in acing your AI game is your stats, calculus. That is already there from years ago. Foundational again, blockchain again, mathematics, foundational, right? When it comes to coding, right? I would probably say try, coding eventually is going to be low code, no code someday, not now at least. It all depends on interest. You no longer need to be somebody who is expert in coding, but you will still solve the purpose with other possibilities. So in the next 4 3 4 years, the goal is two prong. For somebody who's wanting to get into it, ensure that you are fundamentally strong. For the businesses, it's still going to be legacy baggage. Trust me, you have to take up with pinch of salt. It's going to be legacy baggage that people will struggle to solve, and that you might see another 10 different things coming up, but it will always be a combination of these foundational technologies, and then they rename it. That's my opinion. When Feel free to comment on that. I would probably ask my colleagues to also comment on it, fellow speakers.
So,
So yeah.
yeah, what we Venu sir, I may agree, because in the last 3 to 5 years there could be many things, like how we see in the journey, uh, when we had just the blockchain and crypto, and then number of use cases around it, and now Gen AI comes suddenly, right? And then CBDC. So similar thing, there will be many things keep coming. So as a founder, you should focusing more on a use case and applicability of the technology. Which technology, what technology, that is the keep changing.
100% without a doubt.
Yeah.
Good point, sir. I think Venu and Kamlesh sir has given a great point. I think Sachin sir, you want to add on this point?
So yeah, for my point of view, again, that has been rightly said by Venu and Kamlesh already. See, every use case cannot use blockchain as technology. It's not really required. The data has to be there in that form. Um, Again, it depends on the kind of use case you are building. You can adopt the technology, and there will be new technology which will keep coming in to solve the problem of the world and creating a new problem to the world, basically. So it is going to keep happening. It is happening for last couple of years, like almost 30 40 years now. The things are changing so rapidly. Look at this 2000 .com bubble, and then later on, we moved from different perspective and different technology. We kept moving in the direction, evolving more and more, coming up with the new technology. Now the new one which creating a buzz is the quantum computing. How much it is going to be successful, nobody knows, but yes, it is going to be there. It will be coming. It is coming fast, and then we have to keep ourselves ready for that kind of future as well, right? So again, I do not know how this quantum computing and application is going to be there, because that is a new buzzword which is coming in. But again, like the application, how does those going to work on the quantum? You never know. So it will be keep evolving over a period of time. Adoption will be happening according to the requirement. The new technology will be keep coming in, and it will keep creating value.
Good point, Sachin sir. Over to you, Alex sir. Your point on this?
Well, I think anything which is easier to use and faster operationally has and will always be successful. Cost, it can start at a high cost, and over a period of time, cost for everything comes down. So imagine, the cell phone when they launched, they were costing what? I mean, they were. I remember, we had a Panasonic big phone in late 90s. One call was costing around 150 rupees, and now it's somewhere in pesos, right? So the cost will eventually come down. But if it makes your life easier and faster, so earlier you have to do trunk call to people or international calls. Cell phones made that easier. So what people need to think is how technology, in like in AI, Web3, Metaverse, NFT, blockchain, whatever, from a user point of view, these technologies are useless. What solves their problem, gives them to the end result faster and easier, is what they are concerned about. So what ChatGPT has done is, AI has been existing for a long time. It made it accessible to a wider audience. It made them have an answer much faster. No, you're okay. So that's where ChatGPT came in. Blockchain is trying to make sure that because it's immutable, so it's like a source of proof. So that whatever transaction has been done, it is logged. So it is giving people result in terms of conflicts faster. So that is what we need to think of. And and there are tons of use cases. All three of us cannot even cover all the use cases. There are certain use cases we can't even think of. So that's where the student community, which I mentioned, has the opportunity to start thinking what are their current challenges, and how can all these technologies can solve the problem. So you always define a destination and then you take the route. So technology is like the route. You want to go from Delhi to Goa, you can take a car, cart, you can walk, or you can take a plane. So faster is plane. So that's what how technology works. So don't think about this technology will solve this problem. Figure out a problem and then think which technology will solve the problem. That's the way of thinking, and experiment a lot. Thank you.
Great, great, Alex, sir. I think you also captured my next question as well. So, but anyways, I remember once there was a government representative in a panel discussion. He said that wherever technology comes in, but one thing is for sure that as a human psychology, we'll be going in Stone Age. In a sense, he said, in a sense, he said that in Stone Age, people were always unpredictable of what is going to happen to them because there were jungle, forest, everything, and they had to keep updating, keep running from things, and because there is no stability of what's going to happen next, and maybe that will be part of a lifestyle is going to happen in the next 4 or 5 years, that we are waiting for the new technology to come which will have a longer term impact, but maybe reality is that you will see technology updating every 1 year 2 year, and you have to keep updating, keep moving, because if you're not that competent, you'll be you'll be eaten up by the competition. So I
Yes.
mean, so that way, in a way, the culture will come back to the what human actually started with. So so that's with that. Alok, you want to add something? Your mic was open.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like, you know, uh, earlier the continuous education was only for the doctors and lawyers, right? New technologies. But now it's for technology guys, design guys. So now it's going to be a continuous study for everybody. So you have to have that lookout. Need to have that learning spirit. And it's not only technology per se, there are so many other things, which need to happen. Yesterday I was talking to somebody in Switzerland. That lady does meditation and few other things in terms of, and we were discussing how metaverse can actually help them, right? And her target audience was the 20 to 30-year olds, who wants to do mindfulness, and there are certain other things that she does. So what I'm saying is that people are looking at use cases. So think from that perspective.
Okay, okay, great, great, great. So that's a good point. So with that, I want to have a concluding remark from all of you that the student community is waiting. Okay, and what I last saw the sales team's projection, so it has gone to 40,000 students at this moment. So
And I think Akhil's internet has
what how should the new future, okay, my the connection got lost, I don't know why. So what is the concluding remark for you? I mean, what the future leaders should do? I mean, the students who are sitting here at 11 and 12th and who are in first year right now are going to be in our shoes in next 6, 7, 10 years. So I mean, what is your view how to start with? So I'll start with Sachin sir with this, and then I'll go to Alekh sir, then I'll go to Kamlesh sir, then we'll go to Venu sir. Sachin sir, over to you.
So for me is like I have read it somewhere recently around 2 or 3 days where 17-year-old startup owner got a big funding. So these guys can the thought process of So young generation is completely different, and it is changing in every 5 years. Earlier, before it was like 10 years was the times, but now it is the 5 years, and these guys are so innovative. They just need to find out the trigger point or the problem basically, and they can easily find the solution. And these guys are very innovative. So that is the closing remark from my side, to keep their eyes and the ear open around to identify a problem and to build a solution around it.
Good point, sir. Good point, sir. Over to you, Alexa.
Well, I think Sajjan has said it really nicely, but also look at where you are in the journey of your own existence. You know, all these technologies, these can be shiny objects. If you're not, if it doesn't, how do I say it? If it doesn't resonate with what you want to do in life, maybe you just want to be a yoga teacher. Maybe you want to be a musician, right? Maybe you want to be an artist. So don't leave your inherent calling for all these shiny objects. So step back, look at that, and then define. Like I said, first you figure out what you want to do, then figure out how to do it. Don't do say, because this is a new object, let me try and use the how. Because once you're passionate about things, you'll find problems and then you'll find solutions, right? That's the way it should go. And start thinking, and experiment a lot. Say every 6 months change a job, every 6 months learn a new subject, because you're at what, 18, 19-year old, right? I have done so many pivots in my life. I'm a trained C++ programmer, but I switched from programming to creatives because that was what my calling was. So I started my professional journey as a graphics designer. Then I did my uh, MBA and whatever, I made short films as well. So what I'm trying to say is that keep experimenting, keep going towards your calling, and then you will be much more successful and content and happy, because that's the goal of life. You don't have to be the first, and an unsatisfied first is not a happy place to be. Is what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Thank you so much. Kamlesh, sir, over to you.
Yeah, so I think in my world, it's very simple. I think uh, be patient and take a risk, whatever you want to do, and be a job creative instead of just looking for a job and finding a job, because India is a growing economy. In next 40-50 years, we have so much startups coming up, and and there will be so much problem. So in simple, let's say for example, from last 50 years, we are trying to solve the problems of Europe and problems of US, what we did in the using the software tech, right? And now you have opportunity to transform the life and solve the problem of the 1.4 billion people. And so there will be many opportunities out there. So go there and build use cases and try to be founder and be a risk taker. Because if you be in comfort zone, then you must be just only going to work for any company and just doing a job. So there are a lot of opportunity, and I think nowadays academia provides so much opportunity. I interact with many academia in India. So everyone having a startup incubation hub, center of excellence, and the opportunity to interact with the industry. So all you can leverage and do something better, and better for the country, and better for yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, Kamlesh. I think the best point to be taken is, don't be in your comfort zone. So over to you, Venu sir. And Venu sir, I know it's tough to answer the a common question at the last, because most of the things others have already spoken. I mean, Venu, I always keep you on spot
All right.
for this. Yeah, Venu sir, over to you.
Okay, fine. So, most of them have given some amazing ways to look forward. I'd probably put it in a different way. Okay. Of late, I have read a book. So, by Paul Millett, who by the name Pathless Path, that says don't think or fall in a traditional bracket of what is success for you. Your peers suggest that going at your age, going into a nice college maybe IITs is a great success. And then getting a 1 crore job is a great success. These are social norms. And again, you get married, you get kids, and all. That is a social success. But that's a path that everybody likes to be in or push your peers. But I would probably say remain in a pathless path with hunger, trying to understand what will satisfy the so-called interests that you normally think or passionate about, and then that basically will help you always be interested in what you're doing, explore, keep looking at it. See, I would probably not say that you should be looking at technologies here. I would probably say be somebody that you would love to be. The sooner the better. This is the time where you can do a lot of experiments, and please do that. Please don't stick to the conventional path of success. If I don't want to kind of something different here, because there is a situation here. All the institutions are still struggling to provide the pace at which things are changing in the world. So you should step up your game, understand what you would like, and then follow your interests. That's what I would probably say. But in case anything around technology, you have us. You got a wonderful faculty like Akhil who can help you recommend the right direction, and at least then feel free to reach us out. All our fellow speakers are very very social. At least let me put it that way. Feel free to ask any questions, and you should be asking questions. This is where you would really meet or satisfy your urges in terms of what is your real success. All right. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Venu sir. Nicely put it at last. So with this, I think I can conclude the panel discussion for today, the day one, the first panel discussion, which is how the future looks like, navigating the future of technologies and how it's going to impact business. So I think we have explored a lot more than what our title was. That we have discussed how this is going to impact business. We have discussed how these emerging technology looks like confusion, but at the same time they are building up, evolving into a meaningful way of ecosystem. It has to be. And I want to really thank Mr. Sachin, Mr. Alekh, Venu, and Kamlesh for taking your time for the students and for everybody. And I'm telling you, it's not only for IILM students, it's for every other schools across Pan India. So they are all watching you. Thank you so much for your patience. And thanks to the audience for coming here. Over to the coordinator here. Thank you so much for the speakers. I think we all can leave now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Thank
Thank you.